Welcome to Colonize the Ocean podcast, where we discuss oceanic colonization, exploration, and education with your hosts Adam Jewell and Brendon Traxler.
It's that time of the week again, ladies and gentlemen. It is Colonize the Ocean, the podcast. I am your most handsome, most obese, most redheaded host, Adam Jewell. And with me is my good friend Brendon. I don't have a good description for him today. So, anyways, Brendon, how are you doing?
I am doing fantastic, Adam.
We are in week 3 of quarantine. Now, I mean, I'm not officially quarantined. I don't think you are either, but
Yeah, I am.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, yeah, so I mean, we're in week 3 of all this and whatever. And like we said last week, we're not going to bore you guys with all that because everybody else is probably tired of hearing about it. They want to hear about some other stuff. So we're gonna talk about some oceanic type stuff. But first, Brendon, I want to give you something a little uplifting here. You know what I'm having right now as we record this podcast?
I have no idea.
It is an Arizona tea. Now, I don't know how familiar are you with Arizona teas, but they've been 99 cents
Yeah.
for like the longest time. Like, no matter what the world can throw at us, as long as Arizona tea remains 99 cents for one of those giant cans, like, things are going to be okay. Like, there's not a lot to worry about as long as it always remains 99 cents. But as soon as they ever increase that price, I know I'm going to start questioning a lot of things.
First off, it sounds like we're sponsored by Arizona Tea with the way you said that there.
No, I'm working on that, but no, we're not.
I'm not a big fan of Arizona Tea, so.
Okay, well, maybe I'm not a big fan of you. Have you ever thought about that?
Now, the Lipton tea, like the Lipton green tea, ooh, now we're talking. That's some good stuff right there.
Well, I don't even know what to do with you anymore. It's all about the 99-cent stuff.
But you pay for quality.
Well, yeah, but it's still pretty darn good.
All right.
Anyways, whatever, Brendon. I'm going to go into my article, and then we can discuss this off air and decide if we're going to keep up this partnership. So, earlier in the week, we posted on the Atlanta Sea Colony Facebook page a few different articles, and one of the ones I wanted to talk about is that there is a company that is now offering expeditions to the deepest spot in the oceans, which, I mean, once you get into this article a little bit, it is a undersea diving company, Caledon Oceanic, in which they're offering 3 people right now, is really what it is. The opportunity to go to the Challenger's Deep, which only 7 people on Earth have visited that, and one of them being James Cameron. And also, it's kind of an expensive deal. It's $750,000 to be able to do this. So it's quite the. I mean, if you have that kind of money and you're looking for that kind of thrill, this is, I mean, a pretty cool opportunity. And it's on a first come, first serve thing. So by the time this article came out and all that, there might have been people that took up on this. But from the sounds of it, each submarine will dive up to 14 hours. Or it'll take up to 14 hours. The descent, which is over 7 miles, takes over 4 hours. And then it says the divers will spend up to 4 hours on the seafloor where they'll get the chance to explore and potentially film their surroundings. So, yeah, you get to go to Challenger's Deep, the deepest spot in the ocean that we know of. And, you get to sit down there for a while, but, this is kind of one of those things that we've talked about in the past about. I don't think our mission anytime soon is to be able to habitate or colonize the deepest part of the ocean. Now, I mean, I know in some sci-fi movies they've talked about it, but I don't know. What are your thoughts on being at the deepest part of the ocean, 7 miles down?
I mean, I think and as you were talking right there, I'll get back to my thoughts there, but I was looking to see, because I know Virgin Galactic and some others have offered trips to space, or they put the price out there, and it's comparable to that price there. So you're talking about it being expensive, but to go to the deepest part of the alien life here on Earth or to go to outer space, it's a comparable price point there too. So really, I mean, when you're looking at that, it's a deal, I guess. But I don't think the average Joe wants to go to the deepest part of the ocean anyway, because there's not much to see down there. You're going down there for either the fact to say, hey, I'm one of the few that's done it, like people who used to climb Everest and be like the few that did that, or you're going there for a scientific aspect to see, hey, I found new life, because every time they go down there, they find some new life every time they go down. So I think those are the two big ones. And, it's a good way to fund these expeditions because it is super expensive to do. So, it's a smart business move if you can get people to pay for this to go down there and explore this area that we know nothing about almost.
Yeah, I don't know. If I had $750,000, I think there'd be other things that I would do. But that's just me. I mean, there's a lot of people that, like you said, do want to be able to say, hey, I'm one of the very few people that's ever done this. And I mean, that'd be a cool, I guess, bragging right. But at the same time, like you said, there's not going to be a whole lot to be able to see. What you might see might be brand new, which would be really cool. But yeah, I mean, this is one of those things kind of just like us, where it's a niche group of people that are going to want to be all about it. And, good for them. But there's something about being down that deep that just terrifies me. Like, we read that story a while back, or maybe we didn't even talk about it in the podcast, but it was like, I think, was it during the 60s or 70s when they were going down there for one of the first times, that the hole started to crack while they were down there? Like that. No, like I could not fathom doing that. And then like you don't have a really like a rescue line. Like, you have to come up only so fast. I mean, there is no immediate rescue for that kind of event to happen.
Yeah, it was the Trieste, which was the bathyscaphe that they used back in the 60s to go down there. They said that when they were going down, and anybody that's familiar with the story knows this, but the pressure got to a point, I can't remember, it's one of the bulbs or outer, I can't remember what it was, cracked. And it says like almost like a shotgun blast, how loud it was. And is that
right?
At that point, you have to make a determination, you keep on going or not. And if nobody's seen it, you talked about how James Cameron, he's one of the other people that he put a movie out several years ago. And you can buy it, or it might be on Netflix, I don't know. But it's the whole how he did that and down there, and just to get there, he did a bunch of trial runs at different depths getting to the Mariana Trench, and it's just the difficulties of that. It's really good for anybody interested in that. I would definitely say that's one you have to watch. It's not long. It's a standard length. I think it's 120 minutes or something like that, 2 hours at the most. But yeah, it's really interesting and really good insight into the getting to this, and then what you see when you're down there too. Because I mean, he has all the best equipment as far as cameras and stuff, being a filmmaker, to capture what's going on down there, and it's just really eye opening. And even after all this, he still ran into problems when he got down there. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, like I said, I just that in like for 14 hours, and granted, you're in a like I think they said like a 2-person sub that takes you down there. But 14 hours, that's 14 hours like without a proper bathroom. That's 14 hours without, I don't know, maybe you can bring a snack. I don't know. But I mean, like, I don't know. I need to be able to move around. Like, when you're on like a super long car trip, you can pull over, use the restroom, you can walk around, stretch your legs a little bit. But 14 hours, like just sitting nonstop, I don't know. That's just not for me. I mean, this is for some cool people, but not for me.
Yeah, well, it's with this, when you get involved in the science community and stuff along those lines, you're used to being in cramped quarters and laboring for your love, pretty much. So it is what it is. But yeah,
can't do it. But you know what? I want to hear what happens, or I'd like to hear the stories of the people that do pursue this, because I'm fascinated by what could be down there. I just don't want to be the one to go see it myself. So yeah,
that's what. What I was going to say that's the big thing about that is the more and more we get down there, the more and more we can explore. Who knows what we're going to find down there? Everybody's always talked about, as we explore the oceans, what cures for different diseases and stuff we may find out there, and new life forms and stuff along those lines. And the more and more we're exploring, then the more we push those boundaries, the more and more we're going to find. So, yeah, that's really cool.
So, speaking of, kind of like a mysterious aspect or the unknown, I understand that you have something kind of cool to talk about.
It's the coolest. It's not really news. Yeah, no, it's not really news, and it's something that I've known about for quite a while, and some of you may too as well. And it just there was an article that came out a week or so ago about it, and we posted it. And it's just one of those things that it's AUTEC, and it's, if you're familiar with that, it's an acronym for the Atlantic Undersea Test and Evaluation Center. It's located in the Bahamas, and it is people refer to it as the Underwater Area 51. And the reason why is because, once again, it's U.S. military, super covert, top secret. Nobody knows what's going on. And this article just talks a little bit more about, about this. It's not a very long article. There's tons of information out there for it that you can look up and find. Satellite imageries. They actually have cut into the ground this long canal underwater where they, so submarines can come in and out. There's lots of stuff that goes on there that just people don't know. Sightings. Whether it's UFO or USO for underwater submerged objects, a bunch of different weird stuff going on there. And obviously that brings up to people saying, well, it's alien testing beds, it's the government working with the aliens. But no matter what it is, it's interesting, it's secretive, and so therefore it gets people's attention.
Yeah, and one of our side hobbies outside of doing this, and one of the things me and you have always connected on, is that we're both into kind of the paranormal. We're into alien stuff and reading about it and hearing about it. Is a lot of it far-fetched? Probably, but we always love hearing about it and watching videos and stuff. So it's kind of cool to kind of see an article that kind of, I don't know, connects our two worlds with that, where, yeah, like you said, there's the possibility of USOs, which I'm going to correct what you said. It's unidentified submerged objects. You said underwater submerged objects. Yeah, so I'm going to call you out on it.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and it actually brings up about a year and a half ago when I was doing my own podcast and I interviewed you. We were joking about, could there be aliens out there and blah, blah, blah. And, there's always been those people that have seen crafts or whatever, dive into the waters and not to be seen again, or emerge from waters and fly off. So yeah, I haven't heard about this one. So this was
really?
up until we posted it, this wasn't something that I'd really ever heard of. So I mean, it was kind of, which is cool because what's that?
I could have swore we had talked about this in the past, but that's cool. Yeah,
well, we have a lot of conversations. It's very possible that we did. But yeah, I like hearing about this kind of stuff to be able to, I don't know, add some mystery to what could be out there. But in the same breath, when we're talking about the realistic side of it, there is a operation that's doing some of the stuff that we're probably trying to work on, where they're probably experimenting on different types of structures and submersible equipment, and just, and it's, yeah, probably all military. So it's got to be secret. It's got to be, they don't want other people knowing about it while they're testing it. So, yeah, there's a lot of mystery surrounding it, but there might be some practical applications of what they're trying to do, and probably practical reasons on why it's being kept a secret.
Yeah. Like I say, I'll put the link in there, and I'll find some other articles too, just because it is such an interesting thing. There was a YouTube video I saw years ago on it, and I'll try to find that and add to the show notes as well, because, if you're interested in this it's really cool area and a really cool thing.
What we should do this week, now that we're talking about it, is that, what was it? There was something, and I don't want to get carried off on the paranormal and all that stuff, but it did bring up that thought that there's some videos you can find on YouTube that there's some people that are convinced that there's an underwater military base off the coast of California. And if you look at satellite pictures,
yeah. It goes to Nevada.
What I'm talking about.
Yeah, there's actually a tunnel that goes from a lake in Nevada to California. Yeah, it's really cool.
Allegedly.
But yeah, anyway, so I'll try to find that YouTube clip as well and throw it in there, even though it has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Once again, it's cool. Or maybe we'll just throw it on the Facebook. Either way, we'll get it out to you.
Other than that, I mean, it's kind of a short episode week. I mean, it's actually been kind of a bit of a stretch to try to find, one of my jobs is trying to find news articles for the Facebook page and all that. And this whole coronavirus thing, I mean, yes, we have to take it seriously. I'm not trying to minimize that aspect, but it's been kind of hard to find news articles related to the oceanic technology and stuff like that with all this. So, we've got our work cut out for us, but as always, we want you guys during this time to stay vigilant and wash your hands and do what you got to do to stay healthy and, whatever you got to do. Other than that, Brendon, I'm going to read off the social medias quick. And we can start off with telling people you can go to our websites, which is www.colonizetheocean.com, or you can go to www.atlantaseacolony.com, or you can find Atlanta Sea Colony basically on every single social media platform. I'm talking about Facebook. I'm talking about Instagram. I'm talking about Twitter. We're on LinkedIn. We're on the TikTok. We're on the Reddit. We're on YouTube. We're on LBRY. And guess what, guys? And one thing I keep forgetting to mention on our credits is Patreon. We have a Patreon set up. So go to patreon.com/Atlanta Sea Colony. And if you're able to help, please help, because that's only going to help us further our development of the Atlanta Sea Colony project. Make this dream become a reality. Brendon, you got anything else?
No, as far as the social media stuff goes, it's always expanding. We're now on Minds as well, which is like a alternative to Facebook. So it's constantly growing. It's almost too much as we continue to grow to keep up with all the links on the website, which we will have a new website here hopefully this week. So for Atlanta Sea Colony, so be checking that out too.
All right, guys. Until further notice, we will see you again next week, and we'll have some other stories for you. And as always, colonize the ocean. Is that our tagline? Should we make that a tagline? Just, hey, colonize the ocean.
Let's colonize the ocean.
Yeah, okay. So until next time, let's colonize the ocean.